Hello and welcome to this first ever episode of Irish Red Devils, a brand new podcast here for Manchester United fans across the whole island of Ireland. I'm joined in the studio here tonight with
Gags.
Killian the football genius.
Gags and Killian the football genius. So why are we doing this? We started talking about setting up a new podcast a couple of weeks ago, start of the season almost, and I suppose it was a bit of therapy. We're trying to, trying to find our way through. We're sick and tired of talking on WhatsApp groups about what's going on and how we can make things better. And we thought, right, let's get something together where we can get the whole Red Devil crew from across the country and thrash it out every week and really just kind of support ourselves through this storm that has been. But ironically, the first time that we've come, the first session that we're doing, is coming after the win yesterday at Anfield. So what a brilliant time to start. So guys, what's the thoughts there on yesterday?
Unreal, unbelievable. I mean, to win at Anfield for United, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, the last time United won at Anfield in my lifetime, I think 7 or was pushing 8 years old anyway. Wayne Rooney was the only goal scorer of the day too. You had players like Marwan Fellaini and Marcus Rashford hadn't even made his debut for United's senior team, which I only found it out last night, and I think that's absolutely mad. He's been at United for like a decade, and he's never won a game at Anfield. So it just shows you how long it's been since we've won a game at Anfield. And I mean, out of all the grounds too, the ground at Liverpool, it just was our bogey ground, and no matter how good or bad we played any year, I look back at the 0-0 a few years ago. Rasmus Højlund had a very good chance he should have scored, which could have won us the game, and he missed it. Then even last season, where we were definitely the better team, the 2-2 draw, Harry Maguire, he put the ball over the bar in injury time,
right, yeah.
Could have won us the game there as well. It just felt like we were never going to win again at Anfield, but thankfully Harry Maguire redeemed himself there last night, and thankfully we have ended the Anfield hoodoo, and hopefully now, not only have we ended the Anfield curse, we've actually won a game again at Anfield. Ruben Amorim has won back-to-back Premier League games now, so I'm thinking along two factors that could be a massive mental barrier that we have just hopped over, and so I'm hopeful now. I'm really, really hopeful that now we've jumped over two of those mental barriers, two of those massive mental barriers, which have not only been there for the past year, but also for the past 10 years, that now we can hopefully kick on and continue this good form we seem to have gained from the games against Sunderland and Liverpool and make the season a memorable one.
You can feel the energy coming through. So Killian, what age are you?
17.
17. That's freaky. The fact that what you just said there, you've only seen United win once. This is something that I heard recently about about generations of Man United fans coming up that haven't seen us win a title and stuff like that. That's just mental, isn't it?
It's been tough.
Jesus.
United fans have been suffering. We've won trophies, won a FA Cup, Europa League, Carabao Cup. That's only Mickey Mouse of Liverpool win that, but it was a big trophy for us. But yeah, it was a massive win, and to do it at Anfield, brilliant. And to score that first goal after 61 seconds in front of the Kop, with Van Dijk, 10 foot behind. It was amazing.
Do you know what's absolutely typical? I see pretty much every game live, and I couldn't really watch the game because I got called into work, and I had it on in the background and I could see it, but I didn't even get to see it until 5 minutes into the game, and straight away I got a buzz. I was just I couldn't believe it when I saw the goal.
You probably thought it was Liverpool.
I did, yeah, absolutely did.
Notification.
Yeah. And
Anfield.
So I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where maybe I shouldn't watch games anymore then, because that's what happened. But
I'll be honest with about 10 minutes ago plus injury time, I actually did think about going up and putting the lights out and just saying I'll come back down in half an hour because it was intense. But
did you have any? Did you actually have any confidence going into it though?
I didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't. I said I would take a draw. I would snap your hand off for a draw right there. Saturday night, Sunday morning, take a draw all day long. Didn't have confidence, and I've wanted to back Amorim, and I have backed him. Recently, there's been things he's been doing that's just been annoying me. Mostly is kind of how he's talking to the media, his reactions on the pitch or on the pitch side. Bruno's having a penalty. He's not even looking at it. That sort of thing more than anything. More so than the results. it was kind of his demeanour was starting to make me kind of not believe in him. But we're all sick of managers being sacked.
Yeah.
Sooner or later you have to stick and just hope this guy is the real deal.
Well, I was the opposite of you, actually. Now, I haven't really been the nicest of fans when it's come to Ruben Amorim recently. I've sort of been swaying between Amorim in, Amorim out, mainly Amorim out from the start of the season. But despite that, I was actually pretty confident coming into this one. I just felt something was going to be different this time, and maybe a main reason was because of Liverpool losing 3 on the trot before international break, and players like Isak, Wirtz, Salah not all gelling together, and I sort of envisioned that coming as well, because when you spend all that money in the transfer window, and like, for example, break the British transfer record twice within a month or 2 months or whatever, however long it was, inevitably the squad isn't going to see short-term success. Maybe in the long term it's going to do wonders for Liverpool. Maybe they've set themselves up for 5 or 10 years down the line to have plenty of Premier Leagues, plenty of Champions Leagues won. But in the short term, it just doesn't work in my opinion. And because of that, I thought, especially looking at their performance against Sunderland, I thought we looked very well structured against Sunderland. I thought we were dominant in the game, didn't really dip at all during the 90 minutes, and I just thought overall we'd carry on that momentum. We had the players to win this one here too, and I felt like the wait for winning Anfield was too long, and I just had that feeling it was getting closer and closer to ending year after year, and I just had a feeling it was going to be this year, and well, it worked out. I predicted 2-0 win for United. Finished 2-1, not too far off there, but yeah, I had a feeling we'd win, and thankfully that feeling paid off.
So I should say anyone, any YouTubers Premier League YouTubers should know about Killian's YouTube channel, The Football Genius. What is the handle? Is it just The Football Genius?
Killian the Football Genius.
Killian the Football Genius. So your prediction, if you're a betting person, definitely have listened out there each week to see what Killian's thinking, because it sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
I think he also predicted Aston Villa to beat
Spurs 2-1.
Yeah, there we go.
Seen that coming.
There we go. Well, I think what I did, like I said, I didn't actually see the full match, but I watched it back in Match of the Day. But what really stood out for me was just I want to talk a wee bit about the goalie. Because he didn't do it. You know what? Nobody talked, none of the TV people or anything were talking about the goalie, and that says everything.
Transformational. What he has brought in 2 games. He's literally played 2 games. 2-0 win against Sunderland on good Anfield. 1 goal, let 1 goal in. Made a couple of saves against Isak. Just the difference that makes catching balls. We haven't had a keeper who could catch a ball or catch a corner in about 3-4 years, ever since De Gea. De Gea was maybe floundering a bit. He probably was never great at corners, but Senna Lamans looks the real deal, and let's hope it's very early into his career. I'm sure there'll be moments where every keeper makes mistakes, but he seems to be he's both feet. He's left foot, right foot. He's kicking it. He's actually finding people from his kickouts. I mean, we had Onana, who's meant to be this ball-playing goalkeeper. I don't know. Did we get the wrong Onana? Is he a twin? But the Onana we got, just forget about it. So, although he's doing okay now in Turkey, I believe. But
that's great. That's what I'm glad he's doing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hopefully keep him. But I think so the things like I said, the goalie, and then the work rate of Cunha. Such a breath of fresh air. It's been so frustrating over the last few years to watch United players just not working hard, giving up, throwing their arms in the air, whatever. And his work rate and his smartness, he was he's drawing fouls. And
5 minutes ago, I was like, Cunha, man on the match for me, and I don't begrudge Maguire getting it because he's a good shout as well. He gets the winning goal, and he was brilliant in defence. But Cunha, He relieved the pressure, especially those last 10-15 minutes. He got the ball, and he just keeps the ball. He's strong, and he draws the foul, as you say, and it's just his passion, and that's what Cunha is class act, and Mbumo class act. So there were 2 good signings, and I think there's a lot more to come from them.
I was actually annoyed a bit with Cunha because the entire 90 minutes. Well, I wasn't annoyed with Cunha. I thought Cunha was amazing. He was my man of the match as well there, but I was annoyed that the entire 90 minutes he was getting fouled constantly, and the referee was never blowing it. And I mean, maybe it's sort of foul which the referee doesn't really blow because of maybe it's not too much contact in it. But like Sabozlai, 90 minutes, he just had his arm on his hands on Cunha's arm, pulling him back, dragging him back. It wasn't always Sabozlai, but it was mainly him. That's where it annoyed me a wee bit there. But even despite that, Cunha just had the elegance and the tackiness about him to just keep on going, playing his game. And I mean, people who don't watch football too much, they think Cunha's probably in the same boat as Wirtz, but there's actually light years ahead. There's actually light years between both of them, because Wirtz, when he's on the pitch, he's had a couple decent moments, but he hasn't really done anything. But Cunha on the pitch, he's the link man for the forward line. He's just brilliant, influential, and you can just tell, even though he's not getting any goals or assists as of yet, he still is making a massive impact on our good attack and play going forward this season, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to have, like, one of the features we want to do in this podcast is that we want to bring a fan on each week from the team that United were playing. And we've got a Liverpool fan. We've found one that'll come on. So Scott's going to join us shortly, and I think one of the things I'm going to ask him is, like, did Liverpool lose the game or did United win it? I mean, I suppose I'm interested in what you guys said about that, because, like I said, I didn't see the full match, but from what I did see, Liverpool seemed to have a lot of chances, but United did look solid, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could have been anything. United probably should have been 2-0 up. Bruno had a great chance. And he hit the post. I mean, it flatters him. The shot, that flatters the shot. I mean, it was more or less wide. It clipped outside the post. He should have put it in the back of the net. But then they had chances too. Gakpo hit the post 3 times. I mean, it could have finished anything. Gakpo also had that header in injury time. It could have finished. It could have been 3-3. It could have been 3-2 Liverpool. It could have been 3-2 United. It could have been anything. But as it was, big Harry Maguire stepped up again. I tell you what, he has proven himself to be some player. He has come back from the criticism, and I think every United fan has so much respect for him.
Yeah.
He really is. This is his last year. I mean, people
Would you
give him a contract.
Would you give him a contract?
Well, here's the thing. I'd give him a contract, but not on what what we're paying him. He's on good wages, and he is. He's.
What age is he?
What is Maguire? What is he? 31.
He's in his 30s anyway.
32,
early 30s.
I'm not quite sure.
He's not too into his 30s, but he's old enough
Put it this
anyway.
way, it's got to that stage where a lot of clubs would only. I think Liverpool used to only offer 1-year extensions. Was it once they got into their 30s? Am I remembering that right? I don't know, but. Look, I would give him a couple of years, but at a reduced fee, and he mightn't want that.
Did we reduce John O'Shea's? Because we kept giving him contracts, and did we ever reduce it? Was like I'm sure he wasn't on the same money that Maguire would be on. Like, but I don't know. It's a funny thing. Like, a fair play. I think he has. For all the crap he took, and it's really impressive. Like,
yeah, he's not the future, but he's definitely doing the business. His big thing is his pace. If you're playing against somebody, you can't really play a high line if you're in the middle of your central defence. His pace is. Yeah. He's great for headers. His big slab head on him, brilliant.
His pace is not going to improve. Like, you can't. What I mean?
That's not coming. Well, I was going to say it's not coming back. It was never there.
Yeah.
But I'd give him a 1-year extension. But I don't know about if he wants to take a bit of a wage reduction, and maybe he will, But I suppose it's just at the end of the day, football and careers are short. They want to make their money. Yeah. So it's interesting.
Okay, guys. So this is our first segment. Now, obviously, on our first episode, we wanted to reach out to fans from the teams that we have just played this past weekend, and like we've been talking about, Liverpool were our guests, or we were the guests of them actually, and. We put out a lot of WhatsApps today trying to find any Liverpool fans who would be brave enough to come and talk to us tonight. And I can say I'm really delighted that we have actually found one. And fair play to you, because listen, this guy has, he's been my coffee dealer for the last many years. And for the last, seemed like 10 years, I've been going in and getting dog's abuse about United. So it's absolutely brilliant to welcome Scott King here. Thank you, Scott, for coming along. And what are your thoughts on the match yesterday?
Mate, where do you start? I mean, I think like we had a conversation a couple of days before the game, and to be honest with you, with our lead up to where we are now, it's been It hasn't been great, has it? Like in all fairness, I mean, we've been scraping wins for those first 5 games, and you're talking the diamonds of each of those games that we were able to scrape a win, but we haven't looked comfortable. We brought on all these new players, and with big price tags attached to them, and you're thinking this is going to make a difference, but in the back of your head, you're thinking at the same time, you know, the dynamic of the team has changed quite a lot. You had quite a steady team last year, albeit it was the same team that was put out week on week. Now we've got Verts in, we've got Frimpong in, we've got Isak in, we've got Ekatike in. We've made a lot of changes over a very short period of time. And my fear has been that those guys haven't really been able to gel that well yet. And I think it's definitely going to take time. And it's definitely shown in every appearance so far. They've been rusty. The lines of communication, the channels aren't being used right. They just look all over the place. It's very reactionary. Nothing sort of is set in place. I just don't think their game plan's working that well. But as I said, first 5 games, we still got the wins. So, you thought to yourself, well, things could only get better. And to be honest with you, losing to Palace, losing over Galatasaray, the cracks started to appear. And they've got bigger and bigger. And there's something, I don't know where the fault lies. I think it's a lot of different factors that have come together. And, I don't know where we go from this. But, right, let's talk a bit about the game. So anyway, I had said to you that I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't think Liverpool were going to win it. And you said, oh, no, this should be okay. And I was like, it's an Anfield and all the rest of it. But something just didn't sit well with me, mate. And then that first goal, I mean, you could look at it 2 ways. Yes, maybe the referee should have stopped it, but at the end of the day, as a professional footballer, you play to the whistle. It's that simple. You play to the whistle. And Van Dijk, no harm to Van Dijk, man. He needs to start leading more up front because he was blaming everybody on that pitch last night. He was taking no accountability. He blamed Canada for that first goal. And it was his man. He should have been marking. He should have been running back, sprinting back. You know what I mean? And he wasn't anywhere to be seen. And then you seen her later on with craic and with McAllister. He was apportioning blame everywhere. And he wasn't taking any accountability himself. And that's what peeved me off. But then, we get back on track. We get the goal. Yes, okay, there's, 2 or 3 times hits the crossbar. Salah misses an open one. Gapco misses one from Frimpong's cross. But it's just not connecting. And then we decided to change up and go 4-2-4. Middle of the park's completely vulnerable. Our back four is struggling as it is. Bradley completely disappointed me last night.
He was really good for Northern Ireland as well.
He was phenomenal. Phenomenal for Northern Ireland there last week. I watched the game and he was brilliant, man, a real talisman for the team. But I don't know, mate. And then he is quite frosty. Do you know what I mean? So he picks up yellow cards left, right, and centre, and that's scary as well. Do you know what I mean? But even just as a right back, Szoboszlai was brilliant, okay? But I think there's too many players playing out of position, or he's messing around with the team too much. And for me, I don't know where we'll go from here. I actually thought Verts came on, he played really well. I thought Ekatike came on, he showed signs of class. For me, Ekatike should be starting every game, no question. Isak, I don't know, such a big price tag, I expected an awful lot more. But maybe that'll come. Maybe we just need to give him a bit more time. I do not understand why we're not playing Federico Chiesa more often. The impact he has had, throughout the beginning of this season, 74 minutes, 7 assists, 5 or 6 goals in the back of the net. He's phenomenal. Now, yes, he didn't score last night, but he created chances and he opened up the back line of it, I thought. But
got the assist, I think.
What's that?
He got the assist for
Gakpo. Yeah. But look, here's the thing, right? So before the game even started, I don't know if you guys watched this, but the way they always show the footage going down into the tunnel, the players lining up to go out on the pitch. Did you see Salah honkering down, staring into space, staring into oblivion? And, I didn't know where the man was coming or going. And, I don't want to put it down to Jota. And yes, him and Jota were really good friends, and that's got to mess with your head. It's got to mess with the team's head. Of course it does. But it's just been that consistent poor form. You know what I mean? Like last season, you would forgive, there's a lot of people slagging Salah off for not jotting back. I'm not going to go that far. But last season, you can forgive him if he's putting goals in the back of the net. And yes, we're conceding, but as long as you're winning the game, you can see that through. But now he's been found wanting, and I don't know if it's his age. I don't know if his head's not in it. But there's too many players like that. There's Canada. He's not responding well in the back four there either. He's blowing hot and cold. Matter of fact, I didn't think he played too bad last night. But it just seems like there's no communication between those back four. Kirk has actually played all right.
Do you know
But
what's mad about this? Sorry to interrupt you, Scott. Just listening to you, like whenever we've been talking about setting up this podcast now for a couple of months, and I think like if you had told me that the very first night we were going to be having this, we've been having exactly what you're talking about now is what we've been talking about for the last 10 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, well, what really comes across and is really surprising to me is like, I haven't really spoken to any other Liverpool fans apart from yourself actually, but it's really coming across that you feel like, it sounds like you think that your club's in a state of panic, but like, reality from an outsider's point of view is looking at it. I mean, you know, it was only 4 games ago, like Liverpool were top of the league and didn't, you know, that win against, was it Newcastle? Was it Newcastle? Yeah, they got that last minute.
The last minute. Yeah.
You know, they were doing. We were talking about like that's good teams win things. You know, find a way to win. It's very early in the days, but I mean, it does sound. Is there a general sense in the Liverpool fan base that you know there is actual long-term problems here, or do you not think this is just a blip?
Look, you know, it just depends who you speak to. Me, like I was talking to a friend earlier on. He says, "Relax, take it easy." He says, "At the beginning of the season, first half of the season, he says, you know, all these new players are finding their feet." And look, I can understand that, right? But at the same time, you know, there's definitely cracks in that back four, and he's been trying with Szoboszlai at right back. You know, Andy Robertson, he hasn't got the legs anymore to track back. We're just, I don't know. The back four seem to be blaming each other quite a bit, and there's definitely holes. See from set piece, we're getting hammered in set piece all the time now. Like you looked at us last season, our set pieces, you know, our back four were actually quite good. They're quite tight. You know, that's not the case now. There's too many gaps, and you know, players getting in behind, which didn't happen before. I don't know if they're pressing too high or what, but you know, you always hear Arne Slot going about the low block and long balls. It's just like, you know, I'm sorry, you're a professional footballer. Deal with it. Deal with what's in front of you. You know, there's so much that's put on systems, playing systems and all the rest of it. And yeah, systems need to be there to work. And I get that. But at the end of the day, the players on the pitch, they can see what's going on and they should be able to overcome and adapt. And it's just not happening for us at the minute. I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as to say, like, you know, it's the clubs. I'm in despair. Or the fan base is in despair. It's just annoying. Do you know what I mean? And I think we can turn things around, but you know, I expected us to come back from international break. Do you know what I mean? And you know, especially with United and Anfield, I thought, you know, we're going to turn it on here, and this is the opportunity to do so, and give all the haters out there something to say. All right, okay, it was just a blip, but Liverpool are back. And to be honest with you, I'm actually fearful for Wednesday night going against Frankfurt away, and then we've got Brentford on Saturday. That's away as well. That's what worries me. And I tell you what, you see, if we don't start to pick up results in the next couple of games, it's going to be a slippery slope, and it's going to be a long way back. Because if that's the case, I think it's not even just the players in the pitch. I think it's the psyche. I think it's the mental attitude. I think there's something there they need to overcome, and that doesn't happen overnight.
Do you think that you need to make changes? Like Kirk has not, for me, does not look the player he was last year. He's not settled. No. But you put Robertson on. I mean, I don't like Robertson, but that's a compliment to Robertson because he's him playing against us, and I know he's getting older, but he's sitting there on the bench, and he's, you know, you see him sitting looking at the game, and Kirk is just flattering to deceive at the moment. You make changes like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And I think we should be playing. You know, your back four should be the likes of Robertson, Szoboszlai, Kanate, and Van Dijk. Even though Kanate is still a bit of a question mark, but you still need him there because he's a big physical presence. You know, between him and Van Dijk and centre back, they are big guys, they're big strapping guys. Like, but
I don't think Szoboszlai is better than being a right back. You know, he's going on instead of Bradley. You know, Szoboszlai he's a quality player. You know,
he is. Yeah. But he's going to show that he can play that right back channel, and he's strong with the ball and he can feed the ball. And this is the thing that I'm worried about, because last year Bradley, you know, if Trent wasn't playing and Bradley was pressing up, he could thread a ball through to Salah, and Salah was on the end of it late, and he was creating chances and he was putting it away. That's not happening now. I don't know what it is. There's a serious lack of communication between the boys at times. Now, that 4-2 opened up last night. I mean, yes, there was chances, but there's no good creating chances if you're not putting the ball in the back of the net. You know that, and that's been the case on too many occasions where there have been chances, but they're not finishing. You can't win football games without finishing and then conceding at the back, and we're conceding flat out. I don't think we've gone a game in mid-season where we haven't conceded.
Tell me this, Scott. Do you think United won that game yesterday, or did Liverpool lose it? From a Liverpool fan point of view.
Put it this way: I think if we had put away their chances, we would have won that. But we didn't.
You had plenty. Like, I mean, you set the post a couple of times.
It could have been 3-3. Could have been 3-2 United. Could have been 3-2 Liverpool. It was a good game.
It was a good game, you know, and I'm not going to take anything away from, you know, United winning that game. Albeit Harry Maguire scored the winner, and that sort of that's like a dagger in the heart.
Come on, Harry,
my son.
It kills me, mate, because at the same time he could have won that last year as well for you too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know? I remember that. Yeah,
you know, and I think that was been the case for him. Like, you know what I mean, putting that in the back of the net. I've never seen a man so happy. But look, it is what it is. Deserved winners last night. Had to take my hat off, and for me, I don't know. I think you know what, we were talking about this earlier on, and I think this is a hard thing for me to say, right? But I think last year when Arne Slot came in place, right, he played Klopp's team, you know, and he had success with Klopp's team, yeah, and he played the exact same system Klopp more or less had from the previous year, right? But I personally think this year, now that, you know, Slot's put his own stamp on the team by bringing in these new players, I think the club's too big for him. And I know people will argue that point and say, no, I don't know that that's it. But, you know, we've got all these fantastic players, and why is he not getting gel well together? Is it that there's too many big egos? Do you know what I mean? Is there something in the training camp we don't know? But I just don't understand with the likes of Chiesa, and everybody's talking about why is he not playing Chiesa more? Why is he not starting? I don't understand.
Yeah. At the same time, Furtz hasn't had a great start to his career, and he was starting a lot of games, and a lot of Liverpool fans were calling for him not to be starting.
Yes,
and he's gone that way now. But now I thought when Furtz came on yesterday, I thought he was dangerous. I thought he was brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. I thought last night that's the Wirtz that you know from the Bundesliga. You know what I mean? He was creative. He was using that channel. He was opening up the game. He was creating chances, and I thought it was fantastic. The only thing about Wirtz is he's small, he's light, and he gets muscled off the ball too easily. You know, and that's the biggest difference between the Bundesliga and the Premier League, is that it's a big physical game. And you need impact, and you can't get muscled off the ball in the centre of the park. Otherwise, the ball's lost. It gets thrown up top, and then somebody puts a head on or a boot on it, and it's in the back of the net. So that's where games are won and lost by, in the middle of the park. And if he's not strong enough to hold on to the ball, for me that's going to be an issue. But yes, I do agree with what you say, mate. You know, he did show signs of serious promise there last night, and I'm hoping he grows into that.
Lost Scott there.
Maybe that's the confidence he needs.
May come back on.
Maybe that's
we'll continue
that's
on
the
here.
turning point for him. I'm hoping it is. But I think it's one of those ones where we just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, if he comes back on, we'll do it. But fair play to him for coming on.
Something just a little bit deeper,
big respect.
You know, and
the physical side of it.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting.
I'm reconnecting here. I don't know if you boys can see me or hear me now. Can you hear me?
Like they were in complete panic. I mean, that's exactly how I thought our first episode was going to be, to be honest.
What I was going to say to Scott was...
sorry, I'm back.
That's all right. No, we're just slagging you off there. We're just saying that...
just the usual then.
We were just saying there that Arne Slot must have interfered with you. You must have heard what you were saying, he interfered with you.
He didn't like that, did he not? Slot boy.
What I was going to say, Scott, was whenever Salah signed his big contract, and I did say this in one of my WhatsApp groups that has Liverpool fans in it, and you know, coming from a United perspective, the moment I kind of felt at the time that was a mistake from Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool traditionally have got good money for players. Salah's getting a wee bit older. So instead of selling them for good money, they kind of broke their wage structure again. What's he on?
Yeah.
Is it 400K a
Four or
week,
five.
or it's a lot
A week.
anyway?
Yeah. It's
And I
something
kind of
crazy like
thought,
that.
and I've seen Rashford get a big contract and his form completely dip. Sancho, we've so many United players who just are getting paid a fortune. And
Gag.
lose something.
But this has kind of been my argument for a salary cap, for a long, long time. Because once you bring money into it, do you know what I mean? The players own you.
Yeah,
That's just it, and it's their way or no way. And like I don't know the innards of his contract. Somebody said that as part of his contract he has to play every game. I don't know how true that is. I really don't.
you
But
hear this, and we hear it with
you know,
Bruno, and we
yeah.
hear,
I can't believe that could be a thing. I mean, has that ever been like? Has anyone ever come out and said that is a real thing in anybody's any
I would,
top
I would
players?
imagine
Yeah.
Ronaldo has that in his contract.
Does he?
Well,
No, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't.
yeah.
The ego that he is. But I think the way to go with contracts is like a good base salary with really, really good incentives.
It should be
score
like
goals,
performance
you score
related pay.
hat-trick,
It's,
you win. Yeah, you get bonuses if you win.
you know what I mean? You get bonuses
Yeah,
for wins, exactly.
yeah.
Assists, scoring. Yeah, exactly. It has
Guys,
it has to be it has
you're
to be
living
it
in
has to be
you're living in cuckoo land, lads. Cuckoo
I
land.
know.
There's
But
absolutely
you know what I mean?
they have the big wages and they also have the bonuses as
Or,
well.
or you get a player like Queven Kelleher who was happy to sit at Liverpool for what 3 or 4 years on 10 grand a week, and Liverpool never give him a different contract.
Look at him
So,
now. Look at him now.
Brilliant keeper. Brilliant keeper.
Unbelievable. You see, when I heard he was going, mate, I hung my head because
Yeah.
for me, he's phenomenal.
He would have been better in nets yesterday
Yeah.
than who you have.
I rate him as one of the best in the world. I think he's fantastic. I really do. I genuinely think he is. Now, yes, he's made a couple of silly mistakes, but some of the saves he made last season when he stepped in for Alisson when he was out, incredible. You know what I mean? And even
Did you see the photo? Did you see the photo of him was captured when he scored or saved Ronaldo's penalty?
Yeah, it's class.
I didn't see the
class.
picture, but I heard about it.
So the photographer got a brilliant photo. He's obviously going to have to get that printed and put up in the house.
Right.
But listen, Scott, here, thank you so much for coming on here tonight. Like, I mean, it's been a brilliant start for our first episode, and hopefully, fair play. I think a lot of Liverpool fans in those other WhatsApp groups that we were getting about with today thought we were going to come in and lay the boot into them, but we know we're only one result away from dramas again. So
we will gladly have you back on after the Old Trafford game.
Yes,
if we win 2-1.
Oh, here.
Listen, we want to get people on, Scott, as well. The week before. So will you come on? When is the next game? When is that game?
I think it's April.
It's in April.
Okay.
Will you come on then the week before that game?
Yeah, absolutely,
man.
mate. We'll talk about the build-up. I love that.
Good man. All right, Scott, listen, we're going to continue on here, so appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on tonight, and get the latte on the go for me tomorrow morning, please.
All right, buddy. Thanks, lads. Have a good one.
Good man.
Cheers, bye.
All right, guys, well, moving on to this weekend, and Killian, like I said, we're one of the things we want to do, and anybody who's watching this podcast, I'd love us to kind of connect with clubs around the country and in England as well, and I reached out to some of the Brighton fan groups and stuff to try to get a Brighton fan on tonight. Didn't manage to happen, but going forward, it'd be great to have fans from other teams that we're coming up against to come on and let us know what we can expect. But we are fortunate enough that Killian, the football genius, is with us. So, Killian, what can you tell us about Brighton? Because I really don't know a lot about them.
Well, since 2022, we've played Brighton 9 times. Out of those 9 times, we've only actually beaten them twice. We've had 1 draw, and we've also had 6 defeats. So it's not the best record against the Seagulls. Last season, the last time we played them at Old Trafford was the last time we played them at all, and it was a 3-1 defeat at home to them. And I do remember Andrew Nana was particularly bad that day. But also that season, early on in the season, we would lose them 2-1. The season before that then, 2023-24, our final match of the season before our FA Cup final victory over Man City, it was a 2-0 victory where at the Amex. It was goals from Diogo Dalot and Rasmus Højlund that day.
Yeah, and like, did they lose any players? Did they lose any players this summer? Like, or
Did
Not-
somebody, didn't they? 'Cause
Not too many players, no.
I thought they had sold somebody before we were rumoured to be going in for Baleba. Have they not
No,
already
I'm not
sold
sure.
somebody?
No, I don't think so.
and has Baleba been playing?
He's been playing, but not much. He's been like
He's still a key player.
He's averaging about 45 to 55 minutes a game.
That'll be interesting because I've never, we were linked to him.
He
I
hasn't been playing well.
Never really watched him.
Yeah, he's had 2 seasons, I think, 2 decent seasons.
Yeah, he's a quality player.
Yeah, he's quality.
Yeah, well, if the genius is saying he's quality, he's obviously. I think that'll be interesting to.
I mean,
to look
they were
at.
looking 100 million for him. Apparently, United went in with 60. I think his head's been turned. I think there is something there. And like Brighton in the past, Evan Ferguson's a clear example. They were looking 100 million for him. 2 seasons later, they put him out on loan.
Yeah.
And Ferguson's a good player. He's doing well in Roma. But Brighton, there could be stuff in there. There could be a deal if United went in January.
What's the prediction in Genius? What are you
Well,
thinking?
you're gonna have to wait for that.
Okay, come on.
Well, I haven't fully decided. I'm leaning towards maybe 2-1 United. I think we might win, but keep in mind that per record. But I think after beating Liverpool, those mantle bearers, as I mentioned earlier, I believe we could, get a victory, especially considering our home turf. But particularly at Old Trafford, it's where Brighton managed to get results from. They're currently unbeaten past 5 games. Those results include a 2-2 draw at home to Spurs, a 6-0 win away against Barnsley in the Carabao Cup, who we beat 7-0 last year in the Carabao Cup. After that, then they went away to Chelsea, beat them 3-1 as well. They did draw 1-1 away against Wolves, which isn't the best result, but then they bounced back after October international break with a 2-1 win at home to Newcastle. You got players like Danny Welbeck, former United player. He is in some incredible form already this season. As I mentioned earlier, Carlos Baleba's quality. A big fan of his midfield counterpart, Yasin Ayari. Probably wouldn't have heard of him, but he's a Swedish midfielder. Very, very good player too, I do believe he can be. And the defence too is actually a pretty good defence. Bart Verbruggen, one of the most underrated keepers in the league for sure. He does have the odd mistake on him here and there, but he still is a quality keeper. Definitely one to watch out for in the future. And players like Lewis Dunk, he's been there for so long. He's been there ever since Brighton first arrived in the Premier League. Kadioglu, the Turkish left back, another player to watch out there, of course. And I'm a big fan of Yankuba Minteh, who's the winger. I think this season, after a year or two maybe, slowish enough start on the south coast, I do believe Minteh is really coming into the zone this year, and he's a real threat as well.
That's why they call him the genius. That's impressive. Like. And what do you think then? What's your prediction, Gags, for this weekend?
I think this United team, I'm hoping we have turned the corner, but what this United team have shown all of us over the last 3 or 4 years, they can turn up against big teams, the so-called big teams.
And then they'll drop against the smaller
and they
teams.
can drop. And Brighton are more in form than Liverpool were. Liverpool are 3 defeats in a row. Liverpool are a great team. It was Anfield. Brighton are dangerous. Brighton are a dangerous team, and they will not fear coming to Old Trafford. Not one bit. And Danny Welbeck scored 2 goals there at the weekend. Danny Welbeck is a quality player, and he left Old Trafford many years ago.
I would take him back.
Yeah, you take him back, yeah. He would still do. I think a lot of United fans would take him back. He's a danger, and I just hope with our keeper and maybe our defence, maybe Euro comes back in. Euro came on, the last 10-15 minutes was excellent against Liverpool. I hope that maybe, I hope we're not going to lose again. I'm not overly confident we're going to win.
Do you know what? I'm just, the biggest fear for me is that we'll see the game sheet and the goalie will have been changed.
No.
That's my biggest fear.
No.
Can't see it happening.
No.
But,
No.
I really hope not.
No.
But I think I need now. I said about 5 games ago, I was getting to the stage where I was like, this is not working, and I had said at that stage that I needed. I think it was like I said I needed to get I wanted at least 6 points out of the next 12 or something, or no, out of the next 15 or something like that there. And we ended up getting 7 or 8 or whatever, and that gave me that big pre the break. But obviously that result is a great result. So important that we go out now, back it up. If we back it up now, I think we will get a real momentum.
I would be more concerned he keeps the team that started against Liverpool. You know, we're at home in the next game. Shesko has to start. He scored in each of the previous 2 games. We have to go. We're the home team. We have to go with a recognisable striker. By all means, pick who you want behind him. If it's Cunha and Bumo, if it's Mount, you know it's going to be Bruno and Casemiro in the middle.
But who do you drop though? I mean,
it's going to be either Mount, Cunha, or
out of those three players, they got 3 of them after that game against Liverpool, and Mount especially this season. You know, maybe it wasn't his best game against Liverpool, but he's proved against Sunderland and games before that you know these types of games at home to Brighton are the games which he can flourish in early on. Like, so, in my opinion, like, you know, I wouldn't like to see any 3 of those players drop to the bench. Maybe I wouldn't mind seeing Mount there because I like Cunha and Mbeumo, but like then again, as much as I'd love to see Shesko at the start, I don't really want to see Cunha back on the bench. And then again, I feel like Mbeumo's
Cunha had a great. I would probably put Mount on the bench. You know, yes, bring him on for the last 20 minutes. We also look Mount is touch wood. He's doing okay, but we all know he has been injury prone. So don't let him start. You know, put on Shesko, and then you've got the forgotten guy on the bench, Xerxes. Xerxes back. Yes, he's sitting there too. Maybe he gets 15 minutes.
I wouldn't be against even giving Xerxes a start in this one.
And then who do you drop?
Exactly. But I mean, the start of last season, I wasn't sure about him. I was even saying we should get rid of him in January, but I thought I was really happy with the second half of the season performance, and I thought he was one of our best players at the end of last season. So just to see him get so neglected this season, and like there's links to him going to West Ham in January, that's just above his level in my opinion. I think he's very underrated by our fan base, and I think he deserves a bit more respect, not only from our fan base but also from Amram and the coaching staff as well. He needs to be given a fair chance because I believe, you know, maybe he doesn't have to start a majority of games, and that's fair enough, but as an impact sub at the very least, I think he can be a very, very good addition, and I think he could be match winners at times as well.
Yeah, he's a quality player.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem that he's going to have this year is just the lack of games that we have.
Yeah, lack of games,
do you know what I mean? Like, unless we get a cup run in the FA Cup.
You've got Menu.
I was thinking about Menu, and like when he came on the other day, like, I mean, he doesn't look happy, like, you know.
Oh.
It's just,
I mean, Amram said Menu was fighting for Bruno's position.
Yeah.
And he seems to be steadfast in that because the last 2 appearances he's come on was for Bruno.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Bruno is starting to be taken off now, because I actually don't think Bruno was great against Liverpool. I thought he was giving the ball away constantly. And
it's a great setup.
It was a great setup,
Yeah.
but that was the last thing he did.
Yeah.
He was immediately taken off.
Yeah.
Because that change was coming. And I think it was the right change.
Yeah.
I think Menu does need more time, but you're reluctant to make too many changes. We really do need another win. A draw probably isn't even good enough.
No, it's not.
We need to go on and win.
Yeah.
Because then I think we're away to Forest after that. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, listen, guys. Thank you so much for joining, for having this. I'm glad we started it, and first, yeah, absolutely. Like, the plan now is we're going to do this every week. I was just thinking about it. We never really play Monday nights. Sure, we don't.
Well, we're scheduled. Funny you say that. We're scheduled to play. I think it's after the November international break. I think 3 of the first 4 match weeks after November international break are Monday night kickoffs. We're at home.
3 of the 4.
3 of the 4, yeah. So get used to Monday night football.
Home games against West Ham, Bournemouth, and the way to Wolves. They're all Monday nights in December time.
When was the last time we had a Monday night game? I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I suppose, we've been in Europa League for so long. That just messes everything.
Yeah,
up.
they just
Thursday, Sunday.
It's a sign of how shit we've been. That we're a Monday night football, but I always like Monday night football.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Okay, well, so listen, I hope you've enjoyed. If you've got this far, I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be putting out we're going to obviously on our YouTube channel, and we'll create our socials now over the next couple of days. Keep an eye out for that. We'll have right down below, we'll have all those links. And next week, like I said, if you are wanting to come on, and especially if you are, I'd love to reach out to fans who are maybe getting to games. I'd love if we could have a Man United fan on every week who's actually been at the game and give us a perspective. So if you're going to the Brighton game this weekend, send us a message here, and let's get you on next week and get you inside gossip on what it was like at Old Trafford. Right, guys, listen, that's a wrap for the first session. That's great, thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. Speak to you soon, and up the Reds.
Go on, United.
Go on,